So in today's video, we are going to be doing an everyday carry update because I got a lot of new interesting stuff that we are going to talk about today, and we will have a parts list for absolutely everything that we're talking about in today's video. The first link in the description, I'll also pin it in the comments. And if you're watching this on your television, I'll put a QR code up right here. Enough of that, let's just jump right into it. First, let's start with these sunglasses. So these are the Core Essentials Neo-Lock sunglasses. These I've had since 2020 or 2019, I don't remember which. These are ballistics rated polarized lenses, and the frame has magnets in it right here. And these magnets actually face away from your head, so there's no magnetism going into your skull. So if we take like this Allen wrench, put it right here, you can see it doesn't stick. You go to this side, you can see it sticks. Now the purpose of this is whenever you clip them onto your shirt, they won't fall off. And the coolest part about it is you can put them on your shirt sleeve. That way, if you have to pick your kids up or something, they're not crushing your sunglasses. And I use these every single day for the past few years, and they have held up phenomenally well. These are on the pricey side. And to be really honest, I've never been a fan of expensive sunglasses, but these have been well worth it. And just for transparency, they did send me these a couple years ago, but I don't have any affiliate stuff with them or any relationship with them in regards that would make me money or anything like that. So I just want to make that clear. One thing I did have to change is the lenses. So thankfully they sell the lenses separately. I don't know if you guys can see it on camera or not, but these got scratched up. I had dropped these out of my hand and they fell on the concrete face down, and it scratched a lot of the polarizing off of it. So I swapped them out. I have tried other sunglasses since I've gotten these, and I just can't find anything to compete with them. The Neo-Lock magnets have me really spoiled on how I like to clip it, say, onto my shirt sleeve, you know, like that. And that way it's out of the way from my kids trying to climb on me and stuff. Next up is the wallet. This is the 511 Tactical. I forget the exact model name. It holds your ID over here. It holds all your credit cards over here. And obviously you can have cash and stuff like that. There is a spot here if you want to put an SD card, or you could stick like a key through this hole right here and it will just come right through, stay in your wallet. It is RFID blocking. They have them in a couple of different colors. This one is a black multicam. I like it because it blocks RFID and it's super lightweight. I've been using it now since 2023, and I'm just a sucker for standard bifold back pocket wallets. Haven't adopted the front pocket wallet as of yet. I will have the links over at the parts list if you want to check it out. Let's talk about knives for a second. In the last EDC update, I had this guy. This is the Kershaw. I forgot the name of it, but it's their new OTF knife. I'll have more info at the parts list. I just don't remember. It's been a great knife, and it's not that expensive, and it's made in the USA. This one has been absolutely awesome over the past year and a half or so. Love it to death, but I don't carry it as much. And I thought I would carry it a lot more, but I've been kind of veering off into the smaller knives. These two knives have probably been my most impressive affordable knives that I've tested in the past couple of years. They only have one big downside to them, which we'll talk about in a second. So these are made by Civivi. This one I believe is called the Praxis. This one is called the X1. This one's about 30 bucks. This one's about 50. They are not assisted opening, but they are flipper style. This one has your basic blade. It comes in like an OD green G10 scales. This one is a liner lock, and I've had no issues with it. Now this one is the X1. It's basically kind of the same thing, liner lock. You got the tip up design for the pocket clips that is ambidextrous only on this one. This one, the pocket clip is not ambidextrous. This one has a Wharncliffe style blade. I really like these blades. Very similar to that of the Spyderco Yojimbo. It's a Wharncliffe blade. This one was highly customized, so don't ask. But this thing is so much cheaper than the Yojimbo. The X1 has a Nitro V blade steel. It is held up very well, sharpens easy, and it holds the edge really well. This thing has been very surprising for a Chinesium knife. This one, on the other hand, is a D2 steel, also easy to sharpen, holds an edge pretty well, and for 30 bucks, this thing is well worth the price. Now, the biggest downside to these is going to be their pocket clips. This hasn't only happened to me, but also Mike at Tactical Considerations. If you get this clip caught on, say, like a seat belt or something that pulls it, they're kind of weak and they will bend all the way out. And the only way to fix them is to take a tiny little Torx nut take that off and bend them back. I think there are some on Etsy that are titanium that are stronger, but that is the biggest downside. I've only bent mine, I think, once, but that's just something to keep in mind. What do you expect for a $30 and a $50 knife? That's kind of a look at a lot of the knives that we've been using, and I like them a lot. Now, there has been a couple of newer knives I'm about to start testing. Number one, this one is from 704 Tactical. If you haven't seen his channel, I highly suggest you go check him out. But he came out with a line of affordable pocket knives. This one has a Tonto blade, the D2 steel. They're China-made knives. And this one has the crossbar lock on it right here. And it comes out very nicely. It is not spring assisted either. And you have the reversible tip-up pocket clip. Now, moving on to these next knives, this is a knife that has kind of been breaking the internet in the past year or so. These are Walmart knives, and specifically, these are Walmart's version of the Benchmade Bug Out. And there's been many videos on these that have been doing torture testing on them. Strangely, I know one or two of the videos, these actually survived longer than the Bug Out in some of the tests, which is crazy. The craziest part about these is they're only $10 at Walmart. It's crazy. Now, they do come in 3 different colors. You got the orange, you got the black, and we got the tan. They do have, I do believe these are made of a D2 steel. They're also made from China. And then these have the crossbar lock as well. And you have the reversible tip-up pocket clip. Now, I literally just got these. I have not had a chance to carry these yet. Also, I don't own a Benchmade Bug Out. So in the future, I'm gonna buy a legitimate Bug Out and we'll do a comparison and I'm gonna carry them. But for 10 bucks, it's hard to go wrong. Downside to these knives, these 2 colors are the hardest colors to find. The easiest color to find in stock is gonna be the safety orange. I'm excited for it. I will say this, when I first got all 3 of these out of the package, there was a ton of blade play in them. So I had to tighten up this nut right here. And once I tightened it up, it made them incredibly easy to use. Flip out, close them. They are a little on the stiff side right now because I just got them and just did the adjustment a day or 2 ago. But $10 knife, let me know if you guys own these. Let me know what your experience is down in the comments section. So this knife right here isn't really something that you're gonna carry, but I guarantee it's something that will make your life better. This is a corrugated cardboard cutting knife. Now, a lot of times, in the past, I've used my regular EDC knives, right? So I would take the knife like this, and I would cut through this cardboard, and over time, obviously, as you're cutting cardboard, your knife is gonna get dull. And it makes it more difficult, especially if you have a lot of boxes to cut. But this thing, I have used this to cut at least 50 or 60 different boxes completely down to put in the trash, and it hasn't dulled at all. They're only about $8. I'll make sure to have a link at the parts list for it. But the way that this thing cuts through cardboard is just insane. Watch. I mean, it just goes right through. And the thing that I've noticed about a lot of just regular pocket knives when you're cutting cardboard, especially large cardboard, is as you kind of go down, it'll start pinching it sometimes. And then, you know, obviously things go awry and the knife slips. But this one, I'm using no pressure. No pressure at all, hardly. And love this to death. Obviously you can't carry it, but I highly recommend it. Moving on to my keys. I am using the Ridge Wallet key. In the past, I have tried the Key Bar as well as the Key Smart. My wife now has the Key Bar. And I like the Key Bar and I like the Key Smart, but this one has been my all-time favorite. They come in a ton of different colors. The thing I like about it the most is it does have a pocket clip right here. I do wish that the pocket clip was more deep carry than it is. It is pretty deep, but it's not completely deep. I like that it folds over instead of having 2 halves, so you only have 1 bolt to worry about instead of 2. I will say this screw does tend to loosen a little bit over time. So if you put a little dab of Vibratite on that screw, not Loctite, Vibratite, there's a difference. It's easier to remove, but it keeps that from backing out. But overall, I love this to death. I've talked about this in previous videos before, but if you have a car that has the push button start, your car is the easiest car in the world to steal. I'm not gonna go into all the details, but basically people can use signal boosters while you're sleeping, and they can get into your car, program a new key on the fly, and be out in less than 60 seconds. Literally gone in 60 seconds. It's crazy. So I've been recommending this. These are Faraday pouches for your keys. You put them inside and none of the signal will escape. And then additionally, for our bolt keys, this is a Faraday box. I have tested these. They do work really well. The biggest downside that I've noticed about these pouches is after about a year or so, for whatever reason, I'm assuming the shielding inside of them starts to tear and they stop working and you have to replace them. But I was able to get 2 of these for about $10 or $11. So I always make sure every day whenever I'm not using the car, these go in there and they're super difficult to steal. And then this thing is a dongle. This is a dongle that goes inside the car, so the only way to steal it is to tow it if you don't have the dongle. But just thought I'd bring that up because those are lifesavers. So moving on to flashlights, on the previous EDC update, I was using the Streamlight Wedge XT. Great little light. It fits in the pocket just like a knife. It has a low and a turbo mode. You have to double click for the turbo every time. No strobe or anything like that. It does charge via USB, and I like this a lot. But recently, I saw this bad boy on somebody's YouTube video, I forget. And this is called the Loop Gear SK05 Pro. I think it was about $130, something like that. But this thing doubles not only as an insane flashlight, but as a power bank. There are 2 versions of this. There's the SK05, and it has non-removable batteries. Then you have the SK05 Pro, which has a lock right here. You press that, and it has 2 18650 batteries in it. Each of them are 4,000 milliamp hours. You just pop those bad boys in there, and I like that because I keep a lot of 18650s for other stuff, and I could just pop in 18650s and not even have to worry about this thing to charge. Now what's cool about it, additionally, you'll notice that there are 2 heads right here. One of these is a flood, one of them's more of a spotlight. And then right here, we have a different type of light, which we'll get to in a second. The other thing about this is it does have a magnet on the tail cap, so you could stick this up on the hood of a car, you could stick it on a wall, something like that. Over here, we have more of like an SOS style light. So right here, whenever you power it on, that little indicator goes up and it tells you what your battery percentage is. So I'll do it again. So turn it, boom, our battery percentage is roughly 75%. And then every time you turn it into a different mode, it'll do the same thing. So on this first mode right here, we have the floodlight, and there's different brightnesses for that. You just hold the button to cycle through. And then if you have it on and double press, you have your turbo mode. And what's even crazier about this is it has a max output of 4,300 and some odd lumens when you're in turbo mode. And then you can move it one more over, and now we go to the more of the spot beam. Now the next one is this side light right here. So right there we have the amber light. You can customize these colors to whatever you like. If you double press it, it changes to a red. We got a green, and then that one's got pulsing and stuff. We also got a purple. The coolest one is this one. So like, yeah, it looks like kind of like a cop, but if you were like pulled over on the side of the road trying to change your tire or something, or you needed help, you could stick this to the side of your car with the magnet, having it face traffic. That way, nobody will hit you. There's other ones you could do. There's so many different programs you could do on here. I haven't even totally got them all down, but I think the coolest part of all of this is right here. But if you pull this out, this is where you charge it, okay? Now you can either use it to charge the light itself, or you could use it to charge your phone. And what's cool about it is it's a 20-watt fast charging system with over 4,000 milliamp hours. So you could probably get a 1 full charge if you have a giant phone like this one, or a giant phone like an iPhone Pro or something like that. So now the downside to this is it's a little bit heavy. So if we put this on the scale right here, it comes in at 9.7 ounces with the batteries in it. For reference, 1 pound is 16 ounces, which doesn't make it the most ideal for carrying it in your pocket. I mean, it does conceal very well in your pocket, but it's kind of heavy, kind of flops around. So for me, I'm gonna start keeping this in one of my vehicles. So if something happens at night, I can use it to fix flats. I'll also use this for when I travel and keep it in the backpack. That way, if I need to flashlight, I have one, or if I just need a backup battery pack, then I have one to charge anything. Now for my phone, I am using the Galaxy S24 Ultra. I have a matte screen protector on there because I don't like glare on screens and I don't like fingerprints everywhere. And this one will get a fingerprint, but it's nowhere near as bad as, you know, a shiny screen. So I like that a lot. This one is using the Urban Armor Gear case that is Kevlar. They come in 2 different colors. I'll have links for that over at the parts list. Love that to death. I had the S23 Ultra before and I broke it, and so I bought this one. Something else I almost forgot is there's an app called Upside that I've been using. They do not sponsor me, so don't get it twisted. But this is an app, you just check in whenever you're getting gas, and literally in the past, I've been using it since October of 2022, and literally I've made $14,035.16 off of this. I drive a TRX, so the gas mileage sucks, but this will legitimately, the more you use it, the more money you save. You go to a gas station, it'll be like, hey, this gas station has it for $1 off, or 50 cents off, or a quarter off. And this has been better than joining a rewards program at like Costco for me. So highly recommend that app. I do have a link for it. And if you use that link, it gives you like an extra percentage off on your first fill up. They didn't sponsor me, but they did give me a code. So there you go. That'll be over at the parts list for you. For my wedding band, I'm using these Groove Life bands. They're very soft and squishy. They're super cheap and affordable. They have a ton of different colors, but the main reason I use them is if you ever break your finger doing something and your finger swells, it's gonna be very difficult to get your finger out from a ring. So I typically only wear this one. Now for the watch, this is something new for the channel. This is the new Garmin Tactix 8 AMOLED. It's not a cheap watch, but I do have a code that you guys can use. I will make sure to have that at the parts list for you or down in the description. It takes quite a bit of money off. It doesn't give me any kickbacks financially. Optics Planet did send this to me and I just asked them to make a code for you. And I will have a full video coming out on this. Now this one did come with a black silicone band. I did buy this gray one to put on after the fact. And this one also has a matte screen protector on it. That way it's not super shiny. And if you look at the reflections, not super shiny, and it's not a fingerprint magnet. It does have a glossy screen otherwise. Now you can still get these with the MIP screen and stuff like that. So keep those things in mind. I just didn't get that one. The reason I got this was I've been doing a lot of biking and mountain biking lately and doing some exercising, and I needed something to track my workouts. Now prior to this, I was using the Samsung Galaxy Watch 5 Pro. And after I started looking into the data, I found out a lot of the data was wrong. And the other downside to this one was after 2 or 3 days, the battery be dead and I'd forget to charge it. So with this one, you can actually see right here, it says the battery has 29 days left. I just charged it the other day. It will go that long, but I will say the more activities and exercises that you track, the more you do that, the more it will drain the battery. I have found that you can get a solid 20 days out of this if you track one exercise every single day. Love it to death. I like the look of it. I like the feel of it. And I even bought the additional Garmin heart rate monitor chest strap because when you're biking and gripping things, it can make the heart rate monitor on the back here incorrect. The other thing that I like about this one versus anything else that's a smartwatch is I like that it's not using a wireless charging. And the reason that I don't like wireless charging is they don't charge very fast on average. This came with this charger here that just kind of plugs into right there. And I didn't like that, it was a little bit awkward. And so I picked this guy up right here. I'll have a link to this over in the parts list, but this simply clicks right in and I can put this on this charger here. This charger charges your phone, it charges your headphones and your watch, and it'll hold it just like that. Unfortunately, I couldn't find this in black. I've been tracking my sleep with this. I've been tracking all kinds of stuff. And like I said, I can't go into all the details about it on here, but just know that this is the replacement for the Tactix 7. Let's get into holsters setup. Now these 3 holsters right here, I'm not going to tell you that you have to get these holsters because there's a lot of great holster companies out there. But I do want to show you these, and I wanted to talk about the 4 things that I look for in a concealed carry holster. Number 1, I prefer carrying appendix. That's the most comfortable for me. So the 4 things I look for is I want a mag carrier on here that's flexible and removable. The second thing I look for is a concealment wing right here because this pushes The concealment wing pushes against your belt, pushes it closer into your body, makes it conceal easier. I look for 2 clips because it makes the gun more stable on your belt and it won't move around as much. And I like lots of adjustability. This one is the Tier 1 Axis Elite. It has all of those features I just showed you, and it also not only has a concealment wing on this side, but it has one on the mag carrier as well. And these things conceal really well, and if you want them to conceal even better, you can get these concealment wedges right here. I'll have links to these over at the parts list. So when you combine this wedge with this wing, it pushes it not only in like this, but it also pushes it further into your abdomen to make it conceal a little bit better. Now this one is the newer of the models that came out. This is the APX. Biggest difference between the APX and the Axis Elite is the APX is gonna have adjustable mag carrier position, so you can change the cant or the height. And instead of having just like a regular concealment wing like this one, you're gonna get an adjustable concealment wing with these stackable plates, and it also has it on the mag carrier as well. Then this one right here is their MSP holster, and this one can be used with or without the mag carrier. It also has the adjustable wing right here, and you can also put the wedge on here. The thing that makes this one unique is this one will fit any gun that uses either a Surefire X300, a Streamlight TLR1, or the Modlite PL350 or PL350C. So I don't typically carry like this, but whenever I'm reviewing guns and I want to go to the range and kind of practice with them like from concealment, I just throw one of these lights on and it will fit every single time. The next thing that I look for in any holster is it has to protect the trigger. That should be a given. I don't know if I should mention that or not, but because I carry guns that don't have external safeties, your trigger guard right here is your external safety. That way the gun doesn't go boom in your pants. Now, I will say this, I've been using Tier 1 Concealed. They don't sponsor my channel, but they will send me a holster if I want one. But honestly, so would almost any holster company. So I don't favor them because of sponsorship money or anything like that. I favor them because even throughout the pandemic, they were able to maintain lead times. And yeah, their lead times went up, but not as much as some other companies. And they always have been delivering on quality. I've never had an issue with them. But you gotta remember, guys, like just because I've never had an issue doesn't mean nobody will ever have an issue. So keep those things in mind. I will say this though about Tier 1, they've never done this before, but they did give me a chromo pod, switch the letters around. It's hard for me to say the right words in these videos without getting flagged. I have one for these holsters. They've never offered that in the 5 or 6 years that I've worked with them. So that'll be available at the parts list if you wanna check it out. Now for carry guns, these are kind of my 2 main squeezes. Right here, I have the MR920 War Poet with the M-Force Wild 1 light on it. I love these lights because of the paddles. They work for me the best. This one has the Holosun 507C, and this is completely factory. I haven't touched anything on the gun. Love these to death. I have complete videos on the MR920s if you want to check them out up here. I am going to be switching soon to the MR920P. This one is exactly the same almost, except this one is compensated. The only reason I haven't started carrying it yet, I got to verify the 0 on here before I start carrying it. But over the years, I started with a Glock 19. I then moved to an M2.0, M&P 2.0. And then I tried a CZ P10C. I went back to an M&P 2.0, back to a Glock 19. They just work for me. Not telling you that you need to grab these, but I will say this. I know where these can be had for way cheaper than anyone else. Wink, wink. I'll have info over at the parts list. For my magazines, I'm using OEM Glock mags. For the extension, I am using Shield Arms mag extensions. These are +5, so this gives me a total of about 20 rounds in here. Plus I have 15 in this mag, plus I have 1 in the pipe for a total of 36 rounds of ammunition. For the ammunition that I typically carry, I have been carrying this for the past couple of years, Federal HST Law Enforcement 124 grain. Whenever you do 0 your red dots, you need to make sure you're using your carry ammo because different ammos will hit at different spots. Now my next gun that I carry is my Glock 26. This is a Gen 3, I believe. This one has an Apex trigger and it has I forgot who makes the slide. It's been a long time, but the only triggers that I will ever upgrade to for concealed carry is Apex Tactical and Overwatch Precision. The main reason those are the only 2 that I will carry is they're the only 2 that I am aware of that have multiple contracts with various police departments throughout the United States. So if it's good enough for them, then I think it's probably good enough for us. This one has been custom stippled. Not much going on with it aside from the trigger, the sights, and the slide. I call this my mailbox gun and exercise gun. When I'm exercising or riding my bike, I strap this on. I'll show you how I strap it on in a second. I'm also carrying OEM mags with this extension. This is from Barracuda Tactical. Unfortunately, they're no longer in business, but Shield Arms does make one of these for the Glock 26, and I have a chromo pod that will take a little bit off for you. On this mag right here, this thing is called a G plate. And the reason that I like this is whenever you're gripping it, your finger can get up underneath there. And you don't think that that would do a lot for the stability of your grip, but in fact, it does quite a bit. I use this when I'm not wearing pants that have belt loops. And then I use this guy right here. It's a comfort concealment belt, and it wraps around, and you could put, this thing holds the gun very well, but it's Velcro, it wraps around, and then I'm able to put on sweatpants and the gun doesn't droop. That actually brings me to the next thing we're going to talk about, which is belts. So using that one, especially for exercise and stuff like that. And then I have this guy right here. This is the Tier 1 concealed EDCS belt, or you could also call this the Hunter Constantine belt. And it's funny, in my last video when I talked about this, everybody said Tier 1 concealed ripped off Hunter Constantine. There was a fight in the comments. Honestly, guys, if you go to Tier 1 Concealed's website and look at the listing for this, they said that this was developed in conjunction with Hunter Constantine. So they didn't rip anybody off. I want to make that very clear. The biggest differences between this and the actual Hunter Constantine belt is going to be the logo that's right here. And then on a Hunter Constantine belt, you have 2 loops right here of adjustability. And then with the Tier 1 belt, you get 3. Both the Hunter Constantine belt as well as Tier 1's belt come in all the same colors, and they're the exact same price. So I'll have links for all of these over at the parts list, but what's cool about this belt is it's flexible right here, and then it's stiff in the front. Now this is really designed for people who like to carry in the appendix position, so keep that in mind. But it's super comfy. And also you can almost use it like this guy right here and put it underneath clothes that have stretch pants or drawstrings and stuff like that. I don't personally use it that way, but you can if you want to. Now, if I do find myself needing a belt that blends in a little bit better, you know, that has a buckle on the front and stuff like that, maybe I got to tuck my shirt in. I've been using this guy for the better part of 3 years now. This is the Next belt. I forgot the actual model name, but I'll have a link over at the parts list if you want to check it out. I like it because it has this very small front buckle, which is important for concealed carry, especially if you're going to appendix carry. You see, before I got this belt, I couldn't find a belt that had a buckle that was slim enough to fit between these 2 clips right here. And this one has adjustability. I had one that was from Core Essentials that was just wide enough to fit, but I couldn't move it left or right. And I think Core Essentials now has one that will fit. And this is one of my favorite belts. It has the ratcheting system, and you can see this thing's been beat up. I've had it for over almost 3 years now. And you basically buy it, you cut it to your size. They have a chart and stuff on how to do that. But this thing is just perfect, gray man. And look, after 3 years, it's molded to how my body looks, and it's still completely stiff. The other feature that I like about this is it has this little button right here on the bottom, and it doesn't get accidentally depressed or anything when you're sitting. And because I was a little bit worried about that, but when you go to sit, if you want the gun to be able to expand a little bit, because you know, when you sit, your belly kind of protrudes, you just press that button and then it starts pulling out like that, and then you sit, and when you stand up, you can slightly pull on it. And so although it doesn't self-adjust, it's easy to adjust for sitting and standing. So let me know what your thoughts are on this new EDC update. What did you guys think of some of the newer stuff that we're talking about, like some of the newer knives, like the Walmart stuff? And what do you guys think of this crazy flashlight and stuff? I'd love to hear your guys' feedback. And if you are new to firearms and stuff like that, and you're kind of looking for your first one to pick up, I highly suggest you go check out this video right here, because I go into a lot of details on how to choose the best one for you and your current budget. But until next time, guys, I love you, and you guys stay sexy.